This is another variation on the chant. As you recall, we began with trust the universe. And that is the same intent, but we're going to say trust the one. The one could be your version of the Lord, the divine, this true self, or the one united universe, or all those things. So trust the one. And just trusting that even though life doesn't look like it's happening for you and you feel forsaken or cursed, it's actually happening for you. So trust the one. And then crave the one instead of crave unity. Same difference. You're craving connection with that one entity or the combined entity or the universe. You're craving that combination, that feeling of oneness, right? So trust the one, crave the one, seek balance. We used to say seek parity, same difference. So trust the one, trust the one, ooh, crave the one, seek balance. You're already amazing. And it used to be, believe you're already amazing. So we're just shortening it, altering it a little bit, so the acronym changes. Either one is fine, just this one might be easier for people to remember. Trust the one is, you could say TTO or TO. Trust the one. Crave the one, CTO. Seek balance, SB. You're already amazing, YAA. So let's do it a few times so you get the idea. Trust the one. Ooh, crave the one. Seek balance. You're already amazing. Trust the one. Ooh, seek the one. Seek balance. You're already amazing. Trust the one. Ooh, crave the one. Seek balance. You're already amazing. Now you'll notice sometimes I drop the the ooh, the I just forget. Or at one point, sometimes I've seen I say, crave the one, seek the one. That's why cusp really does work better in some ways. It's crave unity, seek parity. And the reason that we're saying that, as I've said before, is you can't actually seek the one. It's like the parable from Jesus where the kingdom of heaven is like a seed that a man finds and he hides it in the field and then spends all his money to buy the field so he can try to find it again, right? So you're found by the kingdom. All you can do is buy the field. All you can do is commit yourself to finding it. But any action you do to try to find it, the mind will put up a concept and a story and seek an identity of one who has found unity. So we crave it, but we're not seeking it. We're craving it, right? That's the buying a field and spending all your money on that. Putting all your attention on that. Going past pentacles and swords for that. Feeling your feelings fully and be willing to forget to trust the universe. That's the joyful parade, the willingness to keep seeking. That's what you're called upon to do. But what you're seeking is balance. You're seeking parity. This is an inner balance. This isn't a crusade to make sure everyone has the same income. That would be swords. That would be an ego adventure. It's a good one, perhaps, but it's not what we're talking about. What we're talking about is inner balance between the negative adaptive child, that's on the left side of the tree, which comes from an excess of yin energy, and it's basically the fear of being rejected. So you obey and you conform, and you may demand that others do the same. And this can be issues around the static feminine. So we want balance between the negative adaptive child on the left side and the negative free child on the right side. The right side, if you look at the tree of life, it's all about purpose, busting through the limits that are put on it by yin, so it's excess yang, right? The tree is shaped rectangular, but you can see it also as a pyramid. They're getting further apart as you go into lower consciousness, closer to the imagination and the manifestation, and farther away from the unified state. So your negative free child, it wants to be an individual. It wants to get proof of worth. It can't trust the one or trust the universe because it says, well, I'm going to get judged. This comes from issues around static feminine judging and also static masculine judging. So both were judging. And there's resistance to submitting to the dynamic masculine because you don't trust it. Probably because there was no trust of the father or not enough trust of the father when you were a child. So you can't trust the universe because you can't trust the static masculine. You may try to take over the static masculine and be the boss, or you may try to escape the static masculine, or you may try to complain about the static masculine. That's the negative free child whining. Yes, there are times where the negative adaptive child can whine, but that's not the purview only of that. Negative free child can whine in an attempt to work angles to get free of the static masculine. In any case, we're trying to get to the dynamic feminine, but we can't get there unless we've got balance. The imagination has to be free. It has to be positive adaptive child and positive free child. And I know I keep throwing away around these terms, and I hope that it's sinking in. I don't know if people are getting it, but in any case, once you have the dynamic feminine, and then you're not worried about the superego, you're not worried about the negative controlling parent and the negative nurturing parent. These are parents in your mind that are putting out thoughts that are critical of you. You know that you're already amazing. You don't have to do anything. You still do things, but you don't have to do anything. Then you find an opening back to the static feminine again, back to death, back to unity state, which you had escaped in your terrible twos through the dynamic masculine. So it's a circle. And then Jung had these 4 stages. The call, well, he had more than 4, as we know, but these are the 4 we're bringing out. So call, trial, return, bardo. So, trust the one, or trust the universe, that is the call, right? If we don't trust the universe, then the call will be fear. But if we trust the universe, Vishnu, abundance, trust the universe. Then so it's aum, right? The is the trial. And this is Brahma looking all around, whether it's daughter or spouse, we don't really know, maybe it's both, but there's this, I want to be unified. But it's not the unification with the highest, it's the unification with some form. Or a desire for disunity, I want to get away from whatever it is that seeks to unify with me or that I might have otherwise unified with. And this could be, supposedly positive, like I'm not going to unify with that chocolate cake, right? Or I'm not going to unify with this person who is not treating me well, or whatever it is, right? So, or your complaints about them, and then it's this lower consciousness, but it doesn't mean it's always bad. Anyway, so that's what's happening during your trial. And then you're not seeking balance. Your negative adaptive child or negative free child is seeking to have control and suppress the other. Because both are afraid of the superego, both are afraid of the negative controlling parent. So they put forth their view, or they defend their view, but you're not going to have peace, you're not going to have balance, you're not going to have sphere 6 of the tree, you're going to be on one end or the other, and then you're going to finally influence the imagination to judge a past manifestation or seek to control or prevent a future one. But if you're a balance, you're a positive adaptive child, positive free child, you still may try to influence the imagination and the manifestation, but it's not out of fear or anger or craving. So the only craving we want, ideally, is craving unity. And that's what, if we get through the trial, and maybe all the suffering we have is to get us to crave that unity, then the trial is what we call successful, right? A successful trial because I'm ending it with a craving of unity and a seeking of parity, CUSP, cosmic. And if we leave the trial that way, then when we hit the return, we're not going to be overly pensive. And that is the judgment part, right? So aum, is the call, is the trial, is the return. You're returning, basically, one way to look at it is you're returning to the space between seconds, or the space between moments. And you're going to return, or going to end the moment. Your neurons are going to fire at one last time, and it's either going to be some plan to get you something, with negative free child, or some judgment and try to suppress negative adaptive child, or one of the 9 constructs filtered by one of your 9 Enneagram types is going to have that final thought. And we don't really notice this most of the time. You have to be very watchful to see it, but there's a final little, like a squirt or burst some view of expert mind, some view of how the world works. And it's almost like you're trying to, maybe you are, trying to send it to heaven and say, hey, this is what I need you to let me do in the next moment or the next year, or this is what I'm judging that I wanted to do. And gosh, I should be punished. I should get suffering because of that. That's an attempt to align as negative adaptive child with the powers that be. In any case, this is all very arcane and don't even know if I should share this, but that's how the return ends. And then you go into the Bardo, and it's the 7 F's, 7 or 6, I keep losing count. It's feel your feelings fully. Being willing to feel your feelings fully and to forget. And forget what? To trust the universe. Because then the circle goes around again. Right? And so if you get the Wheel of Fortune card inverted, it's a suggestion that go back to the call. Go back to trusting the one. Right? And then you can enter the Bardo. Right? You're going around the other way. To fully forget. Feel your feelings fully, fully forget. And then the return is easier because you're willing to forget, right? So there's no pensiveness. You now have positive adaptive child, a positive free child. And then you enter the trial and you remember you're on the cusp of returning to the one, right? Because you're going counterclockwise. So you can certainly crave unity and you can continue to seek the balance. Even if you feel like you have balance, balance requires vigilance. So you're seeking that. And you're not claiming you've found the one, because you just shortly ago were willing to forget the one. And this is the point in the talk where I'm like, did I hit record? And that actually I think is a good sign, because it's an idea that my time is nearly up and I'm losing connection with my initiation. So I can keep going either clockwise or counterclockwise and forgiving anything that comes up during the move between the call, the trial, the return, and the Bardo, the Aum, and then the forgetting. Aum. 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 Ah.